So it's been a while then since I've been able to do a proper guide video for Marvels Avengers, but with the introduction of the champion system, with the most recent patch, I can get back into my guides, so I'm most definitely happy with this. Now, this particular guide video, we're going to break it into two sections. The first one, we're going to give a general overview of the champion system for anyone that's maybe not sure how it actually works, or wants to just brush up on how it works before they actually jump in and start leveling their heroes. And then the second part of the video, and I'll put a timestamp to that in case you want to jump past the overview, but the second part of the video will be a breakdown of the perks and how they actually all work. Like if it's a percent increase, is that actually a multiplier, or it's a flat rate that's added on? So I'll discuss all that, and then on top of that I'll actually give some general suggestions on which perks you want to go for on specific heroes and builds as well. But before we do jump in and we start off with the overview, if you're enjoying the content in the channel, take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button. But let's now start off with this overview. So this is the champion screen here then. It's available under the skills tab. Now this is your post 50 leveling for all characters. So you're at level 50 on a specific character, and then any excess XP you would gain from there starts to go towards your champion XP and your champion levels as well. So if you're farming away and you have bad RNG when it comes to drops, you'll still be making progress on your characters, so that's absolutely great. It uses the regular XP you get in the game. It's not any different from the XP you would get leveling from 1 to 50 as you get from champion levels 50 onwards. So I've actually got a guide I've done on how to optimally farm XP in the game, and a couple of steps you want to take before you really start grinding your levels for this as well. There's a link to that particular video in the description below. So this system then is specific to heroes and not your entire account. So this is for people that maybe want to have the best Hulk in the game, the best Hawkeye in the game, and want to put a lot of time into that individual character. You can really take them to the next level. The cap for it is a whopping 372 champion levels you can actually go up to. You can't respec the system at the moment, but in the latest blog post, the wording suggested that hopefully that'll be coming in future, and it's something that when I was able to actually see early access to this particular system, one of the first things that myself and other content creators said was, where's the respec system? We really need that. So do be careful about the nodes and what you actually spec into, but we're going to cover later in the video which nodes you should avoid and which ones you would go for. The perks that are available, you've got your 4 trees: combat, tactical, utility and defensive. Under combat you have melee, ranged and heroic increase. That's the amount of damage you do for each of them. You've then got your tactical tree that will increase your crit damage, your crit chance, and then your status and stun damage. Under utility we have your heroic charge rate boost, perk activation boost, and then status resistance boost. And then finally under the defensive tree you can increase your max willpower, your defensive stats, and then you can increase your willpower recovery as well. So if you want to build a more glass cannon character or a more tanky character or even an all-round character, the options are most definitely there. Now, each champion level as you actually level up, it will cost you more XP as you go up champion levels, so it will take you longer to go up champion levels as time goes on. As you go further down the trees, it actually costs more champion points to unlock each of the nodes as well. So I'll bring it up on screen so it makes more sense, but you can see on the left hand side here we've got 5 different nodes. The first one costs 1 point, the next one is 2 points, then it's 4 points, then 8 points, then 16, so it doubles every time. If we actually add all them up, so it gives you an idea of how many points you need to get to the bottom of the tree. So your first node you're investing 1 point, your second node you'll have to invest 3 in total, the next one is 7 in total, then 15, then a whopping 31. And you need to bear in mind, as I mentioned, as you actually go up champion levels, it will take longer to go up champion levels as well. So once you start to get to the bottom of a tree, it's going to take a fair amount of time to actually fill that out. So personally what I would recommend is going to roundabout possibly the third node for stats that you feel are really important for your characters, and then maybe going for secondary stats as well, because going for your nodes 4 and 5 going to take a fair amount of time to get them. But that's a general overview. It actually took a lot longer than I thought it would actually to do that, but hopefully that gives you a really good idea of how the system works. So what we'll do next here then is we'll jump into that breakdown of the perks. So I'll let you know the total gains you'll actually be getting if you go to the bottom of the different trees, and I'll let you know which perks I would actually recommend you invest in as well. Now, before we do actually bring up the infographic I've created, I've managed to get some contacts with the developers, which is really pretty awesome. So it means when I have technical questions, I can go to them for it, which as a guide creator is absolutely invaluable for me. So I actually have this in regards to how the percentages work increase wise for various stats. A lot of people were asking, are they additive or do they actually multiply? So this here, the percentage increases from champion skill points give base percentage damage increases identical to the buffs from comics. They stack additively with the comic buffs. Both champion skill points and comics give flat percent increases to crit chance, perk chance and armour. For example, if your resilience is giving you a 10% reduction in armour, purchasing your first champion skill point will make your total reduction 11%. So it's really important to know because we don't have a respec. So I'm glad I was able to get an answer in time for doing this video. But let's now bring up the infographic I've created for this. So it's a relatively simple infographic, this one, but hopefully as a quick reference guide it helps out. So I'll quickly go over each of the sections. I've got the maximum amount you'd get if you get to the bottom of the node, that's tier number 5, and I've also got some general notes as well. So looking at combat first, that will boost your melee, ranged and heroic damage. It's a flat 15%, which is a huge amount. For this you'll focus on primary damage stat for your build as high priority. I would probably max this out first, to be honest, on my characters, because at the moment the game's all about doing damage, but with cloning labs that may change a little bit. Also of note here, heroic damage boost is great on Thor and Hulk because they have their Valor based builds. Looking at tactical next, you've got your crit damage boost of 25%, your crit chance boost of 5%, status and stun damage boost of 10% there. So the notes for this one, the crit damage boost can be nice if you've got a high crit build, and the status damage boost can be great for battery builds where you're constantly actually proccing your battery or your status effects. The 5% extra crit chance is nice because it is a flat amount, but at the moment when you're getting your 35% crit chance via your damage buff, it makes us feel a little bit underwhelming. If the damage buff is ever nerfed in future, then this could be more useful. Looking at utility, we've got the heroic charge rate boost of 12.5%, that's pretty nice actually. You've got your perk chance boost of 15%, I'm going to come back to that at the end of the video because it's slightly confusing, and then you've got your status resistance boost of 2% there. So the notes I've got here, perk activation chance does not directly affect the percent chance on gear. Once again, I'm going to come back to this at the end and I'll explain it a bit more. And then your heroic charge rate, that's great for your Valor builds, so that would work really nice with your Thor and your Hulk, for example there. You've then got the defensive tree, so this one here you've got a max willpower boost of 20%, which is absolutely huge, and this is one I would highly recommend. You probably want to try and max this out for the cloning labs coming out. And then you've got fortification, which is essentially defense. That's a flat boost of that to 5%, which is decent, but I would most definitely go for willpower over that. If I had to choose between 20% health or 5% defense, at the moment with the way the health scales in the game, I would definitely go for the health. And then you've got willpower recovery of 25%. So the notes I've got here are willpower boost is great for your survivability, of course, and then your willpower recovery can be nice on certain heroes such as Hulk and Miss Marvel, who have got a pretty decent amount of willpower recovery built into their kit already. Now I'm going to bring up another screen here so we can actually explain the perk activation chance a little bit more, because as mentioned, this one's a bit more on the confusing side. So we'll bring up a piece of gear to best explain this first. So you can see in this piece of gear it has a 17% chance that ranged power attacks grant a damage buff, which is pretty nice. When I initially heard about the champion system and the 15% perk activation chance, I was thinking that it would add straight onto the gear, so it would take this 17% all the way up to 32%, which would be absolutely huge, and it would probably make it the best node that you would actually want to go for in the game. You would want to make a beeline and max out ASAP, but it doesn't actually work that way because perk activation chance is actually included within your heroic stats. You can actually see it here. So you've got your proficiency stat, and that will increase your crit chance and your perk chance as a percent as well. So the way this actually works is when you add on your 3% from one node, it will add on to the stat page that we're looking at the moment. It won't add on as a flat amount to your gear. Translated, and this is thanks to Fletcher on Discord, translated for him it worked out 3% getting added on to the stat page worked out at roughly about 0.9% getting added on to the actual gear. So overall I don't think it's a node that I would get into. Eventually I will fill it out because I'm going to try and max out Hawkeye, but it's not something I would recommend going for in the short term. I would go for the likes of your willpower and your damage way ahead of this. So that's everything there. Hopefully that was helpful and it gets you all set up for grinding your champion levels and not investing in the wrong nodes and then regretting it. And if the video has been helpful, then let me know in the comments below, and take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button as well. But thanks for tuning in for this one. Stay safe. I'll see you all again soon.